There is a number of people here all the time, but don't fully understand. $100,000. It sounds simple, just a number, something you see in videos, in advice, in other people's stories. But when you try to reach it yourself, it feels very different. It feels far, almost unreachable. Like no matter what you do, you're still far from it. You try to be more careful with money. You try to save. You make small adjustments. You say no to certain things. You try to be disciplined. But when you look at your progress, it doesn't feel like much is happening. The numbers move, but slowly, so slowly, that it's hard to feel it. And that's where the frustration begins. Because the effort is real. You're trying, you're doing your part, but the result doesn't reflect it yet. And over time, that creates a quiet kind of doubt. Not loud, not obvious, but something you feel in the background. A question that keeps coming back. Is this even working? Am I actually getting closer or just staying the same? Because the truth is, the first 100,000 doesn't just challenge your finances, it challenges your patience, your discipline, your ability to continue even when nothing feels rewarding yet. And that's why many people stop, not because it's impossible, but because it feels like it is. But what most people don't realize is this: the first 100,000 is different, not just because of the amount, but because of what happens after. Because once you reach that point, something changes. Not just in your bank account, but in how your money grows, how your decisions feel, and how your financial life begins to move forward. And in this video, we're going to break down why that happens, why it feels so difficult in the beginning, and why everything starts to look different once you get there. The stage where most people get stuck. The beginning of a financial journey is not dramatic. It's quiet. You don't see big changes. You don't feel immediate rewards. You just do small things again and again. And that's what makes it difficult because progress doesn't announce itself. It builds in the background without recognition, without excitement. And for many people, that's where they stop. Not because they can't do, but because it doesn't feel like it's working. Why the first 100,000 feels different? The first 100,000 is not just a milestone, it's a transition from effort driven growth to system driven growth. In the beginning, everything depends on you: your time, your decisions, your discipline. Every dollar saved feels like effort, like something you had to think about, like something you had to give up. And that's why it feels heavy, because you are doing all the work. The psychological weight. There's also a mental challenge. When progress is slow, it creates doubt. You start to question yourself. Is this enough? Am I doing this right? Will this actually lead somewhere? Because without visible results, it's hard to trust the process. And that emotional pressure is what most people don't talk about: the hidden buildup. But something is happening, even if you don't see it yet. Your habits are changing, your awareness is improving, your decisions are becoming more intentional. And over time, those changes start to compound, not just financially, but behaviorally. The shift most people miss. At some point, there's a shift. It's not sudden, but it's noticeable. You start to see progress more clearly, not because you're working harder, but because your system is working better. And that's when things begin to feel different. When money starts working with you. Before 100,000, you work for money. After a certain point, money starts working with you. Not dramatically, but gradually. Through growth, through compounding, through consistency. And that changes everything. Because now, progress doesn't rely only on effort. Why it becomes easier? It's not that things suddenly becomes easy. It's that they become clearer, more predictable, more structured. The habits you built early on start to feel natural, not forced, not difficult, just part of how you operate. The real value of the first 100,000. The first $100,000 is not important because of the number itself. It's important because of what it proves. It proves that consistency works. Discipline works. Small decisions matter. And once you believe that, you stop to doubting the process, the new way of thinking. After that point, you think differently. Not about quick results, about long term direction. You stop rushing, you stop comparing, you start trusting your pace. And that mindset is what creates real change. Because the hardest part was never the number, it was the pace before it. The pace where nothing feels like it's happening. The pace where most people quit. Because in the end, the first $100,000 is not just about money, it's about who you become while building it. The habits you develop, the discipline you learn, the patience you build. It changes how you see progress and how you can make decisions, how you think about the future. If you enjoy conversations about money, financial psychology, and the patterns that shape financial growth, welcome to the Asian Broke Diary. Because sometimes the biggest breakthrough is not reaching the number, it's realizing that what once felt impossible is something you can now repeat.